Let's kick it. Chillin' with Blues, fix it. Talking about that RC life. Come and kick it. Welcome to Blues, fix it.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back. You back to Kick It with Lose Fix It. Wow. Today's special is a great special. I'm not going to say good. I'm not going to say no. Today is a great special. You definitely want to stick around for this one. 100% you want to stick around for this one. So today's special, we got a mixture of the Rlaarlo Ak-917 speed cars, and we got the longer LK5 Pro 3D printer. Ooh, I know y'all wondering how is you gonna mix these two up? But it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple. The Rlaarlo, right? It don't come with a front lip on it, right? I want a lip on mine because when I took this one out and I was running this one with the HPI car, it took a spill, it flipped up, it took a spill, a hard spill. And it hit the, when it took a spill, it hit the corner of the front of the body, and the front of the body cracked a little bit, and I really didn't like that. I like my bodies being intact. And I always said, when I got the Vendetta was the same way. It didn't come with that bottom protection. I call it as protection, protection front lip, because it protects the body. If you hit something, your body ain't gonna get scraped up. You know, if it hit the, let's say you lose control a little bit and it just skeet to the curve, that'll tear your body up. Your body is scratched up. You might got a hole in it, depends on how good it hit. But if it have that lip on it, the lip is going to protect the bottom. The lip will take the damage, and the body is still good. And the lip is easy to be replaced. You could just sand the lip down. Nobody going to see the lip. Long as it's sticking out to protect the body, we all good. So I said, listen, my first project with this 3D printer, I'm going to take the Rlaarlo and I'm going to build me a lip for it. Wow. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. It ain't simple, bro. It is not simple. Now, this is for anybody out there that don't have no experience with a 3D printer. I'm not talking to you guys that do the 3D prints and you building all kind of stuff for your cars. I'm a beginner, right? This is my first project. This is my first time even working with a 3D printer, right? So I built it. I'm going to take you through the process. Let's go through the process, right? So my vision of it is, this is the front lip. This is how your front of it look. Your car sits right a little bit a little bit over the edge of this cushion piece, right? So on all of the other cars, you have your cushion. Let's say the Felony, the Limitless, you really got the whole front end. The Limitless, not the Limitless, but the Felony, that's a good example. The Felony got your cushion, and then you got your lip to come out to protect the body, just in case you hit something, it won't hit the Felony body. This is my vision of what I want to do with this. So I said, listen, I want my lip to come just a little bit outside of the side of the body. The side of the body really wasn't that important in the beginning. Now it is. But I wanted to stick up a little bit from the front of the body, just in case, you know, it intakes a little crash in the front, the lip will take the, you know, the damage from it. So my vision of it was, let me pop this off. My vision of it was let me imitate this cushion, just make it probably about 8 to 9 millimeters more on the outside, maybe an extra, give or take, half an inch to, you know, that's probably about 18 millimeters, 18, 19 millimeters past the front of it. So let me do that, and I'm going to create this. I'm going to make this into the lip, but it's just going to be a little bit more bigger. But as you see, this thing got crazy little holes and all the extra stuff for this to fit. You have to make this inside of there. You can't just come around and cut all this out and just have the front, because it got to mount somewhere. I could have put a hole inside here and screwed it down and mounted the lip onto here with the screws. I could have did that, but I said, listen, it'd be a lot more simple if I just mimic this and just take out, you know, pretty much the bottom part of it. It's going to sit on there just like how this sit. This is strong enough to hold the body, because any intake, this is going to take the intake and it's going to hold the intake inside this. So I'm going to just mimic this with a lip, right? And if the lip breaks, it still have this for backup. So my first version, this is my prototype. Oh my God. My prototype, I just made it. As you can see, it's thin and you pretty much can see through it. I just wanted to make sure that it'll work. And the hose, where I put my hose at, my 3 holes for the top of the body, that will be the 2 holes for your mount. And then you got 1 more here. Right? That's the 3 holes. I just wanted to make sure they lined up. Everything lined up perfect. I didn't put the 2 slashes on the side of it for these 2 slashes on the side of it for the body to actually go up. And I was not alternating the body of it, because if something happened to that, I don't want to have to buy a new one and cut the side pieces. So I want to have to do that. I want to sit perfect to fit this car without changing nothing on the car. So this was my prototype, pretty much. It fit on the car. At first I was going to put this to sit directly behind the body, but then I said that, you know, that deceives the purpose of why I'm making this for. I want it to fit outside of the body so that the lip could take any intake of my body, could still be brand new. So that was my prototype. My version 1. My version 1 did not work. It looks good right now, but I had to make so much cuts, and I had to raise my little slots on the side. I had to make my holes bigger. I had to change so much in the first version of it that I said, okay, the first version I changed it, I made it work. I made it fit. So that's where my second version came in. My second version went on. I did not, all I had to do was clear out any excess plastic that was inside the hose. I had to, you know, clean that out. And I just put a little carbon fiber sticker on the front. As you can see, if you can see it in the light, let me get the light to, there we go. As you can see in the light, come on, right there. The top did not come out that perfect. I have made it thin, and I didn't understand how to get a good finish out of it when I was making those ones. It came out quick. It was probably about an hour, 20 minutes to make these pieces. And it came out quick, so I didn't have a problem with the time limit, because it was just, I didn't know if it was going to work. You know, I didn't know how it was going to come out, how it was going to look on the car, if it was going to be exactly what I wanted, so I was just messing around. That's my second version, right? My third version, I said, listen, I want it to stick out of the front of the car. I want my lip to sit out the front of the car and make it work like that. So this one is my third version. If you can see the face of that one, horrible. Horrible. It's so rough on the top, but I was like, listen, it's not a problem. This one is probably about a millimeter, 1.6 millimeters, real flexible, real thin. This will be no protection. Any hit on a curve, if you were to hit something, this thing would bend, and your body is not going to serve any purpose. But this is just my samples. So I said, okay, I like the way it stick out from the front. You know, the tip of it sticks out far enough from the front over the car, but the sides of it didn't stick out at all. The sides was still tucked underneath the car. So I said, if I do scrape onto something from the front, my tires is going to get scraped up. The front of my car going to get scraped up. Only thing that's protection is the front of my car. The sides, fronts, no protection. So let me change this one. Everything else looks perfect on it. Let me change this one to make it work. Because if you see, this one goes on. All it does is sits on the front like that with a cushion. You take the cushion. Once the cushion go on top and screw down, this thing ain't going nowhere. Once it's screwed, everything is screwed down. This piece, this brace piece, screws down and holds the cushion down in place. If you take the cushion out, you can see the groove of everything in the cushion, if you can see that. So once this goes down, it holds down tight. So my plan was, let me make this where this could sit here. This goes on top. Once everything's screwed down, so that was my finish. If you can see that, that's my finish right there. All it does is stick out, just the front of it sticks out. There is no play on the sides. Well, I didn't have it level perfectly, but this one came out just a little bit, so I had this side a little bit longer than this side. Maybe like, give or take a millimeter. The longer this side was more than this side, but it still wasn't perfect the way I wanted it. See, I wanted it to stick out maybe about 2 to 3 millimeters wider than the side, so that it's not just protecting the side of the car, it's protecting the tires. If anything, if this car was to hit something and hit the side, I don't want it to scrape the side, this part, if it catches this. The back of the car, if it was to slide, the back of the car is definitely going to get hit, but the front of the car is protected. That's my point of making this piece. So my V4 was pretty perfect. I mean, honestly, this one was pretty perfect. But I said, listen, I got a little bit more tweaking to do with it. Because when I put it in, when I put it on, it can do that. I don't want that. I don't want it to have no play where it can move. So with that being in there like that, I said, no, it's still not perfect. It's still not perfect. So that came to V4. Now V4, everything was rebuilt. I rebuilt the whole lip. Everything was rebuilt. I finished it. I gave it a perfect finish. Oh my God. Now the V4, the finish, this was the top of mine. See, this compared to this top, totally different. Totally different. Look how smooth this one came out. This one still, you could feel the roughness on I could feel the roughness on my fingers. You know? This one, I put a carbon fiber finish on it, but you can still see through it. This one, I put a different carbon fiber because I wanted it to be a little bit thicker than what I originally made it. I made this one 2 millimeters, and I put the carbon fiber finish on it to make it to 3, because these two is pretty much the same thickness. But if you see this one with the carbon fiber finish, it still look rough, bumpy, real bumpy. But I just put the finish on it just to see how it came out. This is my V4. This one, perfect. So perfect. But the problem was when I made this one, why I'm making a V5, is because when I put everything into place before I finished it, I was tweaking one part of it, and when I grabbed the whole body and I shift the whole body of it to the side, and all the grooves of it stayed in place. So all it did is take the body and shift it over, slightly over. So when I put this on, as you can see, with this on, there is no play. This thing is in there tight, like really tight. Now when I got it, I had to open up my hose a little bit more. I made my hose a little bit too small. I was trying to make it really tight, but I made the hose a little bit too small. So I just had to open up these 3 holes just a little bit. These is holes. This is a groove in the bottom, but they not a full circle, but these goes around screws that, the screws, the post that's inside there. This is my 2 slashes on the side. So what I'm trying to do is get everything fitted on here. Can you see that? Here we go. Trying to get everything fitted on here. So I have this one, this hole. These 2 is my post for my body. And this is my last bottom hole all the way down on the bottom. These two is the two slashes that I have on the side so that it can get around those two. That's what I'm going around. So this one, perfect. This one came out so perfect. But like I said, I just shift the body over a little, the body of this version over just a little bit. I shift it over just a little bit. So now when I put the body on, everything was so perfect. I gotta bring it close. This is how much of a small mistake that I made. So when I'm looking at it first thing first, right? The top of it, I didn't move it over to follow the shape of the body. So this is straight, and the shape of the body got a curve on it. It goes from here and it goes down, maybe about, I think about 3 millimeters from start to finish. I came here to here with no curve, straight ahead, right? And then from this side, if you can see how much, can I get a light on there? If you can see how much it overlaps on this side, it overlaps probably about 6 millimeters on this side compared to this side. It's almost, let me see. This side is almost flush. It's real close. So I like this side. With a slight miter on this side would have been perfect. So the V4 version came out so perfect. The finish of it was perfect. If I did not make the slight, well, I made 2 mistakes. I made my holes too small. The hose was 8 millimeters. The post on it is 7 millimeters. So I made it 8 millimeters thinking that it'll work. But when this thing is creating it, it filled the holes in pretty good. So it's better to make it like 9 millimeters so it'll shrink down to 8 millimeters so you don't have to touch it up. All you gotta do is take a finish knife or I got a nail filer that they use in a beauty salon that they would use for their nails. It's a little hand machine, and they use it to sand down the female's nails. That works perfectly on just smoothing out my edges, going inside my holes, smooth out my holes, because it got a finish one that files it down where it just smooths it out. And I use that to smooth everything out. So this one came out perfect. But like I said, I shift the body over one way and all of my holes stayed the same. So I had to put it back in, shift it back over, and take my holes and make them to 9 millimeters, I think I did, and shift everything. And now this is V5 that's being created, and this is a 5-hour process of printing. Wow. Just to get it a good finish. Now I could get it to where it's like an hour and a half, no more than 2 hours, but my finish will look like this one. And I don't want my finish looking like that. So that is my finished product of 4. It's perfect. I just had to tweak it just a little bit. So we're going to wait until 5 is done, and I'm going to show you the finished look of 5. Okay, so the V5. The V5, man, this one came out so perfect. When I say this one came out so perfect, I don't think I could have got this one any more perfect than that. Right, so I'm going to show you raw footage of this baby. So let me show you the outside first. The outside, look at that. Look at that. Look at how clean she run with the body. Just hold the body down, because when I put my body on, I'm going to put it down like that. Let me close it. Yeah, so there she go. That's the finished look of her. If you can see underneath there, let me give it a clear view. There is no gaps. Barely any gaps. That's a little gap on the side, but the front lip is all clean. all clean. So that's the outside finish, and this is raw. I didn't shave it down. I didn't do anything to it. I didn't touch up the edges, nothing. This is raw, straight off the printer. This is the top, and I had it on like this, as you seen. That went on fitting perfectly. I could take it off, flip it over, still perfect, no problem. And that's raw. That's raw right there. I didn't even touch up the little tips on it, nothing. Sand nothing down. That's raw right there. So I am gonna give it the carbon fiber look like this. I'm gonna finish her off and give it a carbon fiber look like that. But that's my final, my last, and my final version of the AK-917 Speed Runner. The front lip, that's the last version of it. And since I got two of them, you know I'm brewing up. I got another one baking in the stove. Ooh-wee. She ain't getting nowhere yet. It's still, what's the percentage? Still 3%. So it's just taking that first layer. Now I have to move her, put her over here, give my make a table space for that. Or my, you know, I have to make a table space for that over there. But yes, the last one, the last of the Mohegans, that's definitely the finish. So we went from the prototype to the V1, V2, V3, V4. This one was close. This was the closest I got. Then V5, that is the finish. That's the perfect. This is the perfect one. All I did is take off the printer and slapped up on there, and she fits so perfect. So I'm gonna just take my my fouler. I got a little nail fouler so that I could just touch up the edges just slightly. And I'm gonna take my nail fouler and I'm gonna just get all that excess waste off of it, out of the little holes and everything. And she is done. Wow. Thanks for your time. I'm gonna have a lot more of these videos coming at you with this 3D printer. Oh man, now we're gonna build for the cars. I was showing you how to upgrade your cars, how to customize your cars, how to put lights on them. Now I'm gonna show you how to build pieces on your car. And if you need any of these pieces, any of these light kits, just hit me in the comments and I'll let you know where you can go get it from. If you ain't that talented where you can do it yourself, send it to me, man. I'll do it for you, man. No problem with it. So until next time, all my new viewers, make sure you hit that like button under there. Make sure you hit that subscribe and turn on your notification so that you can be the first one to see these videos, first one to like these videos, first one to share, and the first one to comment. Because I always say, talk to me, I'll talk back. See y'all in the next run.